video because, um, first of all, I am a prophet. My name is Rebekkalien. I'm a prophet and I prophesy. So that means I get visions and words from God. And so I want to share a crazy testimony I had today. So as you know, like divine appointments come my way every single day. And so today at night I was supposed to meet up with someone. He was Christian. And it was 6:30, and all of a sudden at around 6:45 I still hadn't heard from him. I didn't know what was going on. I called him two times, and I'm like, I had a feeling that I wasn't gonna go on this date. And when I called, he's like, oh my god, I got into an accident and all this stuff happened, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, God, like I feel like it's my fault or something, because this person like drove out here to see me, and then now he got into a car accident. So the Lord told me, hey, go out. Hey, I want you to go to Pasadena. So again, my driver, he was Korean, he was married, he was Christian. So we talk about marriage, we talk about relationships. So I get to Pasadena and the Lord tells me, go to the Abbey. So I'm like, okay. I take another Uber, and this person, again, is Christian. He's married. He has kids. So we talk about relationships. We talk about marriage. We talk about friendships and things I've been through recently. So I get to the Abbey. I go in, and I see this one person I've met before, right? And I sit down for a minute, but I feel this discontent in my heart that God was telling me all of a sudden, go home. So I had been basically in the Abbey about 10 minutes talking to two people about just like, okay, so my date canceled because he got into a car accident. I mean, this is drastic. Like, this is for real, like a real car accident. I'm like, God, like, your ways are not my ways, but all things work together for good. So, God, I know that you have divine appointments for me tonight. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I hear God say, hey, go home. I'm like, okay, guys, I know I'm here, but like, I have to go home right now. Like, I have to go home because there's probably an Uber driver or Lyft driver that I need to meet right now. So I call Uber, and immediately I see this guy's name, and immediately I just know, like, this guy is Christian. Like, I just know. So I get in the car, and he has his mask on, his hoodie on, and I'm like, first things first, like, are you Christian? And he's like, well, yes, kind of, like, yes. So he's like, you don't have your mask on. And I'm like, okay, God, I don't know. I don't know if this is the person I'm supposed to eat with and commune with. That's why a lot of times, like, I don't even eat until, like, I meet the person I'm supposed to eat with. Because eating is socializing. Eating is community. Eating is being fed. Being fed, right? So, okay, at this point, I'm, like, talking to him. I'm like, okay, look. So what happened is my date canceled because he got into a car accident. And low-key, like, my heart felt deflated, depleted. I felt disappointed. And I was like, God, like, I don't know what you have in store for me tonight, right? And I had kind of gotten into an argument with my friend because I told him, like, look, respect my boundaries. Like, I told you, like, I don't like you like that. Please do not make jokes about it in front of other people, because I want the whole world to know I am single, I'm available, and I'm looking for my soulmate. Like, I'm not trying to tell people that I'm taken in any way, okay? Like, so please respect my boundaries, respect that I'm a single woman who is looking for their soulmate, and I don't want anyone to like like almost like make me feel like I'm taken in any way. So I felt like he wasn't respecting my wish, and he was kind of like making fun of me in a sense, and I'm like, dude, like, no, I take this dating thing very seriously because I know like God's about to bring my husband, and like whatever like I need to go through, whoever I need to meet, whatever I need to heal from, I am serious about this. It's not because I'm a prude, it's not because like I'm like not having fun. It's just like I take my healing process very seriously. So it's like if I need to meet someone to heal from whatever I need to heal from, let that be. So anyways, so I'm on the car with the Uber driver and I'm like, "Hey, did you eat yet?" Like, and he's like, "No, I haven't." And like, so I'm like, "Do you want to go eat?" And like we sit there and we're like, "You know what? Like end the right here. Like we're going to go eat right now." Right? So we go eat and like it's this whole thing, right? Like I'm just like something's on his mind. So he basically tells me like what's up and like basically tells me the truth and then um like I'm in the car and I just start crying and I hear the Lord say like it's not your fault. And the fault having to do with like my friend, right? Like feeling a certain way and me just feeling so much blame for simply setting my boundaries, simply saying like I don't appreciate it when you act like I was into you when I wasn't. And like I don't want people thinking that because I'm single and I'm available and I don't want people thinking that like I'm into you in some way, right? Because like please respect my boundaries. Like please respect that like my status is my status, you know? And so I felt a lot of fault in it and I also felt like oh my gosh, if that guy didn't come try to pick me up, like he wouldn't have gotten into a car accident. Like that's a lot of fault. That's a lot of blame to put on myself, right? So I started just like crying and I was like able to emote. And I was like, wow, God, like you sent a brother in Christ to help me do that. And so we're like talking, and like the truth is revealed. We're able to like express ourselves and um like he drops me off and like we have a real talk again. I cry more and he's like you're messing with boys, like these are boys you're messing with, like or even hanging out around with, like you need to hang out with men that understand your worth. And he's speaking life into me, right? And I start crying again because this week I reconnected with my dad, but it wasn't the most positive thing because my dad's heart is not very open and like he said some hurtful things. And I hadn't talked to him in almost 2 years. And I'm thinking like, man, like I've tried to reach out to you, Dad, for like almost 2 years, and the first thing you say is hurtful. Like I was just hurt, right? So to have an older male just like affirm me and be like, hey, like you're special, you're unique, like you're one of a kind, like I could feel your energy. Like it was like so affirming and so like touching to my heart. And it's just like the reason that sometimes people think like, oh wow, you're kind of intense is because I felt like no one could hear me. Like I would speak up and I felt like I was silenced immediately. So that's why I fight to be heard because I felt that way like all of my life, like speaking up for myself and like not being heard. And so long story short, this testimony is that God was showing me like your plans can fail. Like maybe you made plans with someone and they got into a car accident and thus they couldn't come out. But like if you continue to follow the Holy Spirit, you continue to follow God's voice, you will meet the person you're supposed to meet for your breakthrough. And literally like God was just like, go here, go here, go here. And like every single driver was like who I needed to meet to like build me up. And last night I had a dream that I was climbing this huge avalanche and it was like snow. I almost fell and then God sent a like a fairy dragon thing to like lift me up and I was able to go higher. And God has been showing me like this is one of the biggest things God's been showing me. Some of the people that I've been trying to help because they feel inadequate they feel rejected, what happens is when I tell them and set my boundaries, they tell me, well, you know what? You're trying to talk down to me. You're doing this. You're trying to judge me. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm setting my boundaries to protect myself. And like sometimes we're so scared to say no, like that we continue having like bad behavior, like people that act a certain way towards us. That's not nice. They're mean to us because we're like, well, we're scared to like, we don't want them to feel less than. But it's like, dude, no, like you're disrespecting me. Like I deserve to be treated better, and like God's been showing me that. And so I just think it's crazy. I was telling the Uber driver, I was like, I can't believe God actually like brought you into my, like he knew where you were going to be. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's like God knew where that Christian Uber driver was going to be at that time, that like I started to feel like I need to go now. Like my heart was like feeling sad, and I'm like, it was like, go home, go home. Now, like I'm becoming so much more in tune with God's voice. Is like sometimes you might be like, oh, I feel distracted in some sense. And then you hear like God speaking, like, hey, you need to go home, you need to go to the city. And you're sitting around with people and you're talking to them. And God's saying, hey, you need to move. The false obligation comes when you like settle because you're scared of like what that person will think. Like God saying, okay, say that you're hanging out with a friend and you're just like spending time together, right? Thank you. You're spending time together, right? And all of a sudden God's like, hey, go, go to the Pasadena, go to the Abbey, go wherever. And you're like, wait, but I'm spending time with someone. I told them that I was going to show up and hang out with them. So the false responsibility lies in you feeling obligated to spend more time with that person, when in fact, you need to listen to what God is telling you. And I have done that a lot too. Like, even though I am spirit led, I am a prophet, I'm Christian, I have done that. And now I am very more aware of like, oh, okay, God, like I need to listen and obey, because it's for my own good, it's for my own healing, it's for my own breakthrough. If I hadn't met this Uber driver, I wouldn't have been able to express myself and then cry and release those emotions, right? And it was like, it was for his healing too, for his growth and his spiritual like awareness and opening his heart. It was for me to open my heart because I felt unloved because of the conflict with my friend. I felt like it was my fault that I was setting boundaries, that I was saying, hey, look, please don't pretend that I'm into you, or please don't act that way, because then you are blocking me. Like some people call it like cock blocking, but for me it's like I'm not your girlfriend. Like I'm just your friend. So like please don't please don't present me as like your girlfriend in any way. It's like you might feel inadequate, you might feel unwanted, but like I'm out here. Like trying to meet my soulmate, okay? And I know when the time is right, God's going to bring that person, but like I'm not trying to feel owned by someone, Amen. That's so true. So someone on YouTube just said your accident is God, not my accident. It was the guy's accident is God protecting you from counterfeit. The reason also, like, when I texted this person, I was like, hey, do you mind like coming a little later, 6:30? And he asked me why. I thought that was kind of strange, and I was like, well, because I need more time. But like even me just like addressing what I needed, like more time, I felt like that person wasn't really okay with it. And that showed me like there's something off. Another sign that like because someone emailed me about like dating coaching. So if you guys need help, just like DM me. One of the sure signs of this person may be hiding who they really are is if they don't pick up their phone, they don't want to talk verbally with you, and they just want to text with you. They're probably hiding something, or they're emotionally unavailable. They're not even able to have a phone conversation with you. That's a sure sign, like, hey, look, there's something off. Like, they're not able to be honest or have a conversation with you even through the phone. Like, there's something really off there, right? And so honestly, like probably in 2020, I've been on probably more than like 50 dates or more. And I really want to like address this lie that we have in the church. This is the lie. Well, God's gonna send my husband, so I'm gonna sit on my couch and watch Netflix all day. My friends, that's such a misconception, like in the church. And like before I actually saw my pastor, like in the past pastor, their kids, they all found their spouses on eHarmony. And I honestly thought like that is so corny. Like I don't want to find my husband on eHarmony. Like what the heck, you know? But then like I started to see like there's nothing wrong with like meeting someone online. Like if your husband is online, like why not go online? You know, like there's nothing wrong with that. And like God showed me like actually I had a dream probably a year and a half ago where like I was swiping and there was just all these pictures of men. And God was saying, "Get ready." This is a prophetic dream. God actually prophesied to me in a dream about dating apps. So like why would I not listen to that dream, you know? So I was like, "You know what? Yeah, I'm downloading like 6 apps. Like how many apps did I need to?" And it's interesting because throughout this whole process, I've met a lot of Christian guys or non-Christians, but even like just learning how to communicate with men. Because again, I did not see my dad for 10 years. I did not grow up with my dad. And like there was a huge, huge, huge wall in my heart that prevented me from trusting men. So like say like a guy hurt my feelings, I would feel like I wanted to just completely block them off, and I would think like I hate men and I hate my dad, and like I would just go into this mode of like I don't want to trust men. And God like would be like, "No, you need to keep moving, keep going forward. Remove these misconceptions, remove these lies, remove distrust." And like because like trauma happens, wounding happens. How do you break those things off? You actually have to keep moving. Go where the spirit is leading you. Say yes to dates. Go on dates. Like meet men. The more you talk and open up your heart, the more you see that, oh my gosh, you just get higher and higher and the caliber of men that you meet. And the more healing that you go through, the closer you actually get to marriage, the closer you're getting to your soulmate, because God has been preparing you this whole time to understand like how to overcome rejection, how to overcome disappointment, and to keep moving forward. I remember one day like I liked this guy and he liked me, but then like he called me and out of nowhere he was like, "Hey, I'm engaged." I'm like, "What?" "So you lied to me." And I felt just like so much hurt. I mean, this is even like a few days ago, I would say. And I was like, "Are you seriously kidding me? Like, I hate men. I hate men." And I order food in, and God doesn't allow me to sit at home and eat by myself anymore. I order food, and God's like, "Return the food." And he's like, "Don't eat the food of disappointment." I'm like, "What, God?" So I'm like, I realized the rice wasn't what I wanted. So I was able to actually get a refund on the food. And God showed me like, hey, don't eat the food as disappointment, like keep moving forward. And I was like, okay, God. And yeah, God moved me forward, and then he removed that feeling of disappointment, that feeling of hopelessness. By what? By meeting more men. So I just want to like prophesy to you that your husband, your wife is coming, your future is coming. But every single day you have to walk forward, you have to move forward, you have to break off hopelessness, you have to break off disappointment. Not by sitting at home and doing nothing, but by going out and following where the Lord leads you, where your heart is leading you. And I pray that this video helped you in some ways. Oh, wow. What kind of dream did you have? I would love to hear it. Anyways, also, like, if you'd like to, like, contact me, my IG is rebekkalien, but you can always DM me. And, so anyways, I just wanted to share that testimony with you that, like, oh, yeah, email me. Do you have my email? Oh, here. So, yeah, I just want to encourage you that, like, what seems impossible is going to be possible this year. If you're willing to step forward and heal and confront the confrontations that you need to deal with, right? And I know it's not easy, but like it's possible. If you're connected to my ministry, if you're connected to just watching these videos, like you're going to encounter the breakthroughs that you need in your life. I am 32 years old. Like I really never thought that I would go through the types of healing that I've had to go through. I didn't even know that I needed healing. I'm like, I'm good, God, I'm healed. And like God's like, no, there's like a lot more you need to heal from. And part of that was opening up my heart to men. And it was learning to say, okay, well, God brought this Uber driver, or God brought this person that I met on the street or on IG, and not shutting it down. Ladies, I just want to tell you, like, just because a man, you feel like, oh, I'm not attracted to that person, like, there's nothing in it for me, like, I can't even, like, see myself being friends with this person, like, you don't know that. Like, don't shut someone down just because they're ugly, no offense, or they're not attractive to you, because maybe there's a healing, there's a conversation that, like, when you open up yourself to that person, that they may open up to you, and that there may be mutual healing. And that's what dating is. That's what it's supposed to be. Right? It like you're not just going to meet like your husband right away and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm all healed from like all these issues of like distrust in men, or like, you know, um like issues with your dad or your mom." Like part of the process is learning to open up and learning to see like, for example, I don't even like some people are like, "Oh my gosh, why is this like old man talking to me?" It's like I don't see that as like I see that as an opportunity to communicate. Like I never see it as like unless they're really really creepy, okay, I get that. Like it's a vibe that they're giving me off like they're just like creepy on you, like okay. But if they're genuinely trying to get to know you and like they want to talk to me, I'm like, "Hey, yeah, like I want to learn about your story too." Like and like most drivers, they literally like tell me their whole life story. They're like, "Oh yeah, my wife cheated on me, and like, you know, my coworker like found like a sex tape that like she made with someone like a coworker, and they showed it to me and all this stuff." So like people share like their whole freaking life story with me. Like, um, oh yeah. Oh. So, anyways, that's it for now. I'm just like, I think that like, alright, so my birthday is on Thursday. And like everyone was asking me, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" Actually, it's Wednesday. Oh my god! So everyone was asking me, like, "What are you gonna do for your birthday on Thursday? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" I was like, "I don't know," because I feel like when I make plans, it never really works out and it doesn't feel good. So what I learned from tonight was like, "Hey, my date got canceled because of a car crash," which is pretty intense. And the crazy thing is, when I was going to the Abbey, my Uber driver told me there was a car accident, and I was like, was it a silver car? Like, oh my gosh, And what God was showing me is like, we can make our plans, but God has his ways. And so even on my birthday, it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, yeah, my birthday is tomorrow. I'm turning 33. Um, God was showing me like, hey, don't worry about your birthday. Like I'm gonna lead you and where you need to go. And like nothing is gonna feel like a false responsibility. I just feel like God's been breaking off the biggest thing in my life, which is false responsibility. I felt like I had to take care of everyone. I felt like I had to like respond to people right away. And I felt very burdened. Um, I felt like I was doing a lot of things out of obligation. And what God taught me was like when you live out of the spirit and move with the spirit, like nothing's gonna feel like an obligation. It's always gonna feel joyful. And so like how do I get rid of like false um responsibility? Like do what your heart is telling you to. Do what you want to, not what you feel obligated to. So anyways, that's all. God bless you. And if you like to sow into this ministry, you could do so on my website. I really appreciate it. And I could use the help as always. Again, a lot of times I meet people on Uber and Lyft, and like I just kind of minister to people as I talk to them. And there are times like I wake up and God's just like, go to Mexico. I'm like, okay, God. Or go to San Diego and okay, God. Like, and just go. And I just go where the Spirit leads me. And so, anyways, thanks for watching. God bless you. Bye. And yes, I will read your email. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate that because honestly, like, I don't have a lot of viewers or like subscribers, but at the same time, I've just like mostly heard a lot of discouragements in my life, so I can use any encouragement I can get. It's like soul food. Okay. Thank you. God bless you. Bye. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.